A very good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Ma'am, please may I have your permission to begin with today's program?
Yes, please do, and all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I will first begin by taking the attendance of all the participants. Anam Khan,
Present, ma'am.
Ishita Prasad, Ishita Prasad, Ishita, Preksha Patle,
Present, ma'am.
Piyush Dev,
Present, ma'am.
Rishita Khare,
Present, ma'am.
Rupesh Mishra.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Calling out Ishita Prasad once again. Ishita, please
Present,
turn on your mic. Okay. We begin sharp at 2. The 6 finalists, please pay attention. You are required to be present here at the university sharp at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow for the felicitation of awards. Please make sure you reach here on time. The Honorable Vice Chancellor Kapildev Mishra Sir will be felicitating you all with your certificates and the winners with the trophies. Only the top 6 finalists, 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. The entire program is being live streamed on YouTube, so you can share the link and watch today's competition on YouTube, the department's YouTube channel. Okay, we begin. Constitution isn't a symbol that requires empty celebrations. It requires adherence to constitutionalism. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shubhi Pandey, and I'm a student of BA LLB Honors 9th semester. And I take this privilege to welcome you all to day 2 and the much awaited final round of the Intra Departmental Virtual Elocution Competition 2020 on the occasion of the 71st Constitution Day. The 26th of November has its own importance in the history of independent India and for us Indians. Because on this day in 1949, the Constitution of India was adopted and it came into effect on the 26th of January 1950, therefore marking the dawn of a new era. To acknowledge the contribution of the framers of the Constitution and to aggravate the people regarding the prominent values, 26 November is celebrated as the Constitution Day. The history of the Indian Constitution dates back to 1934 when demand of the Constituent Assembly was made. Mr. M.N. Roy, a Communist Party leader, was the first who mooted the idea. It was taken up by the Congress Party, and finally, in 1940, the demand was accepted by the British government. On 9th December 1946, the Constituent Assembly met before the independence for the first time. The first president of the Constituent Assembly was Dr. Sajadanand Sinha. On 29th August 1947, a drafting committee was constituted to prepare a draft constitution with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as the chairman. On 26th November 1949, the committee had finished their work. On 24th January 1950, the process was completed when the members signed two handwritten copies of the Indian Constitution, one in English and the other one in Hindi. Prem Bihari Narayan Raizada had handwritten the original Constitution of India in an italic style, and artists from the Shanti Niketan decorated all the pages of the Indian Constitution. The Constitution came into force after 2 years, 11 months, and 18 days. Before its completion, the Indian Constitution underwent more than 2,000 amendments. Finally, on 26 January 1950, the Indian Constitution came into force and became the law of the land. Hence, we celebrate the Constitution Day today. Before 2015, this day was known as the Law Day, but after 2015, this day is remembered for Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and is known as the Constitution Day. Before beginning with the competition, it takes immense pride in me to announce that yesterday we had 30 participants for the preliminary round, and today for the final round, we have 6 finalists from all semesters. Before beginning, let me read out the fundamental rules of the competition for both the judges and the participants. 1. The speech could either be in English or Hindi, and the speech of the participant, the time allotted, if any participant exceeds 7 minutes, there will be a negative marking. There will be a 30-second interval in between the speeches for the judges to mark the participant. The participants are required to unmute their mics and switch on their camera only when their names are called out. Use of any unprofessional, unethical, or disrespectful language will not be entertained and shall be a clear ground for disqualification. The top 6 participants will be competing for the winners and the runners-up trophy today. The topic of today's competition is Media Trial and Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. Lastly, wishing all participants best of luck, may the best man win. Without any further ado, let's begin with the final round of the Interdepartmental Virtual Elocution Competition 2020 by calling upon the first finalist of the day, Ms. Anam Khan from the 3rd semester. Anam, please unmute yourself. Miss Anam Khan.
Hello? Am I audible? Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, Anam, you're audible and you're visible. You may
Okay,
begin
thank
your
you, Shubhi
speech.
ma'am.
Please
It
move a little farther away from the camera. A little more. Your face is not visible.
move back. Now is it okay?
No, your face is still not visible. Yeah, now it is. Please begin.
Okay. It is not. Thank you, Shubhi ma'am. Uh, a defendant is entitled to his day in the court, not in a stadium, a city, or a nationwide arena. Good morning, esteemed judges and all my fellow contestants. My name is Anam Khan and I'm from the third semester of the BA LLB Honours course. The topic on which I'll be speaking today is media trials and the Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. Freedom of speech is the mother of all other liberties. It plays a crucial role in the formation of the public opinion on social, economic, and political rights. The media plays an important role in molding the public opinion on the various events that are happening. The demi-world of journalism is like the fun houses of mirrors that one finds in a carnival. In one, you're too fat. In another, you're absurdly thin. Yet, there you are, standing in front of those bizarre reflections, seeing little resemblance to yourself. However, the world of journalism, the distortions that it makes, it's not like the ones that you find in the fun houses of mirrors. In this rapidly changing socio-economic conditions of a country like India, media has gained much prominence. It has come to be known as the fourth pillar of the democratic country. The right to freedom of fair judgment and investigation is guaranteed under Article 14 and 21 of the Constitution. Every person is entitled to have a fair judgment and a fair trial, and he is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. None are allowed to prejudge or prejudice his judgment before the court's decision. However, the media, because of their excessive coverage, goes beyond its domain, and it interviews and publishes the witnesses and their relatives, and it forms an opinion about the accused as if he was a convict. Recently, there has been an uproar in the sensational case of the late actor Sushant Singh Rajput. On the issues pertaining to investigation and the mishandling of the unnatural death of the late actor. However, the media came up with an entire story, and they said that the one who is accused is the convict. They also published many informations that were based on mere assumptions, and also they commented on many evidences that had no factual metric behind them. This interferes with the judgment and the fair trials of the courts. However, the media trials have done this in many cases. For instance, the case of Jessica Lal of 2010 or the case of Priyadarshini Mattu of 2006. This phenomenon, where the media prejudges and causes the accused to be labeled as a convict, is known as media trial. The history of media trials goes back to the 20th century. Although the term has been coined recently, but its meaning is derived from the case of Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle of 1921. Although the man in this case was acquitted, yet he lost his job, he lost his reputation just because the media labeled him guilty. The Article 19, Clause 1 of our Constitution guarantees us the right to freedom of expression. However, this right is subject to few duties as well as responsibilities towards others. Unlike the Constitution of USA, the Indian Constitution does not explicitly guarantee us the right to freedom of press, but this is covered under the Article 19 of our Constitution. Media trials create a lot of problems because it involves a tug of war between fair trial and free press. Both of these things are very important for a democracy. But when a journalist goes beyond his boundaries and says that a person is guilty and he makes statements that can hinder the impartial judgment of the courts, then he is liable for contempt of court. In the case of Sheena Bora murder, the excruciating eyes of the media were on the main accused Indrani Mukherjee. Now, her whole personal life was in front of the public eyes, and the things that had nothing to do with the legal investigation were also out there. However, at the same time, there are two sides to every situation. The media also plays a vital role in bringing forward the wrongs that the governmental bodies are doing. It brings to the knowledge of the people and in hopes of correction. So to conclude, there are many negative things that a media affects, and also it has less positive effects and more negative effects. So steps need to be taken in order to correct this. Thank you for your time. Happy Constitutional Day.
Thank you so much, Anam. Next up, we have Ms. Ishita Prasad from the first semester. Ishita, please unmute your mic and turn on your camera.
Ma'am, am I audible? May I start?
Yes, you're audible and visible. You may begin, Ishita.
False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. A very pleasant good afternoon, Ma'am Shubhi, and all the learned professors of the Law Department present here. Today, I, Ishita Prasad, is going to speak on the topic Media Trial and Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. Media trial. These two words have become so prevalent in the current times thanks to the Sushant Singh Rajput case. Media trial is when the media provides widespread coverage on one single topic or person through just one single perception and then declare them guilty or innocent all by themselves. In short, it is when the media takes up the law in their hands and then act as a judge and an advocate at the same time. Given the widespread powers that the media is vested with, at first it might appear as an attractive concept. But all that glitters is not gold. The fourth pillar of democracy has hit its worst standards of journalism these days. And when talked about justification, they plead the defense of Article 19, Subclause 1A of the Constitution and immunity from Contempt of Courts Act 1971. However, they fail to comply with Article 19 Subclause 2, which imposes reasonable restrictions on the freedom of speech and expression. The media, for publicity, TRP, and profits, ruthlessly targets and witch hunts its victims, such as in the cases of Priyadarshini Matto, Arushi Talwar, Jessica Lal, and the latest in line, Riya Chakraborty. The principle of criminal jurisprudence, every accused is innocent until proven guilty, has no place in media trial. Article 14, maxims such as odi altrum pertin, that is right to a fair trial, and non juris in causa sua, that is, no one can be a judge in his own case. Also, Article 2021, which are available even in times of emergency, have no place otherwise in the media trials. But what exactly is the problem with media trials? The media shapes the opinions and perceptions of a common man. And through the means of media trial, they mislead them and make them think their way, thus leading democracy to its darker side. A cartoon once depicted an advocate pleading before a judge that, Your Honor, this person is a criminal. He is guilty. He should be sentenced as he has been already declared guilty by the media. Shows how influential the media is and how grossly the media is abusing its power these days. And all this nuisance just on one defense, Article 19. However, Article 19 does not give them the power to violate the freedom of privacy, the fundamental right of privacy of others, nor does it give them the power to overlook the Constitution and the laws. Article 19 does not give them the power to glorify those who speak in favor of them and run boycott campaigns, those who speak against them. Article 19 does not give them the power to spread hatred and blasphemy against any one person or community, be it the latest IAS officer's Tina Darby's divorce case or the Tanishq jewelry ad. And at last, Article 19 by no means gives them the power to use gross, unethical, and unprofessional language and terms for anyone. Even the Press Council of India on 28 October 2020 laid norms for the media, and they should adhere to professional and ethical journalism, they mentioned. The media now needs to relinquish one-sided views and practice neutral journalism. They need to regulate their standards, and as very rightly said by the Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the best regulation method is self-regulation. To conclude, no democracy can sustain and go on without freedom of speech and expression. But also, no democracy can go on without regulation on freedom of speech and expression. Thank you, stay home, stay safe, and warm greetings to everyone on the occasion of the 71st Constitutional Day.
Thank you so much, Ishita. Next up, we have Mr. Piyush Dev from the 5th semester. Piyush, please unmute yourself.
A very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Piyush Dev and I'm from 5th semester. Starting by the very film that is the Sanju, where the late legendary actor Sunil Dutt asked about the question mark on the newspaper. Or the film Rustam, based on K.M. Nanavati vs. State of Maharashtra, where court asked the editor to stop printing the news in the newspaper as it was disturbing the administration of justice. The two best examples of media trial in general. The judiciary and media shares a common bond and plays as a complementary role to each other. The man is the center of the universe. The media, in fact, has been called as the watchdog of the society and the catalyst of the social reform. In 1950 and in 2012, the Supreme Court in Ramesh Thapa vs. State of Madras and Sahara vs. SEBI observed that the freedom of press under Article 19 lays at the foundation of all democratic organizations. A free exchange of ideas, debating and expressions of different viewpoints is important for smooth functioning of a democracy. Indian Constitution believes in the role of the land and not on the rule of the dictate by man. Technology plays a crucial role in every single way. It influences both constructively as well as destructively. The social media is a jungle of words and images, a place for believers and not believers. We don't know what is true and what is fake, as anything on WhatsApp or television is presumed as the gospel truth unless the contrary is proved. Media, in whatever form it is an indispensable tool to ensure, first, that is the detection of the crime. Second, expose the protection of the criminal by the rich and the poor. And finally, put a pressure on the investigation to commence. Now, what is a fair trial actually? A fair trial is one in which the rule of evidence is honored. The accused has a competent counsel. The judge enforces a proper court proceeding, a trial in which every assumption can be challenged. But in the new media, the rule of evidence has no place. Let us see how a media trial is actually done. It is very simple. Put an allegation, make a debate, come to a conclusion based on the true and false, and the justice is served. May the Lord praise you. The trial by an honorable judge is replaced by the trial of embarrassment. Even though we have abolished the jury trial, we still find 5 to 4 expert jurists who probably comes on the conclusion on the television by shattering the reputation of a person and the privacy that we upheld. They call people by name, not only the accused, but also the victim on the channel in the name and the sake of the transparency. The role of presumption of innocence and guilt beyond reasonable doubt has thrown to the wayside. The standard of reasonable doubt is substituted by presumption of guilt. There are 3 stages of a trial. Firstly, the discovery of fact, that is investigation, then followed by a charge sheet and ends up in conviction or acquittal. The media at the first stage of the discovery of fact must have a free hand, but limited to the discovery. The media has done inhuman services to the society in various cases, like in Ruchika case, where finally the accused was convicted after 19 years, and it was the role of media that lead the conviction. Also, the Jessica Lal case, Priyadarshini Matu case, where the law student was raped and the accused was first acquitted, but the media brought fresh evidence, which ultimately lead to the conviction. Also, cases like Nirbhaya case, Vijlal Joshi case, etc. When the second stage comes, that is the stage of a formal investigation, the agencies of law are obliged to investigate in all the matter that is in public domain and also that are discovered in the course of investigation. Cases like 2G scam, where the sensationalization of the views and the news make the entire sector down, just an entire sector down. Just think and give it a thought how it could be bad on a single individual. The judges are also human beings. They also have a television on their home, and also they can be influenced. The Press Council of India has set up the generalist norm, that is inaccurate, graceless, baseless, misleading and distorted material not to be published on the news. Also, not to elevate speculation or comment statement. Let me ask you, do we see these things happening on 9 o'clock? That is so called as the prime time. Even when we are discussing these things on right now, they are violating the terms on the national television. Nowadays, we see the campaign of public opinion on the matter that try to mobilize the public opinion against various things, which is the biggest threat right now. As if someone is granting bail, we have a movement. If someone is refused to get a bail, we have a movement. Someone is convicted, we have a movement. Someone is acquitted, we have a public movement. Just think what hydraulic pressure this will have on the judge the trial. Now we know that we have a problem, but how to solve? The major problems in this is that these media houses are controlled by the business people who have deep interest in the economy. The situation cannot be fixed by government, as things more worse than a reckless media is the government tamed media. It can be only done by the courts by laying down a Lakshman Rekha under Article 19, which should not be transgressed, and the establishment of the tribunal that will try the defamation case within 6 months, already been practiced in various foreign countries. Also, the self-regulation is a must system within the police system, where there will be a check on the media leads by the force, which comes as a morning headline. Finally, inform, criticize, but do not judge a man on the television. There is a reason why we have hearings not telecasted on the television. There is a reason why the voice of the both parties remain between the walls of the court, because that's what they want. And also the people do not understand the legal principle on which the court works. And also at last, under Article 19, when the system fails a victim, and there is no hope, I think in my thought, at that time, the media's role begins and ends at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Piyush. Next up, we have Ms. Preksha Patle from the 3rd semester. Preksha, please unmute yourself and turn on your camera.
Thank you so much, Shubhi ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible and visible. You may begin.
Good afternoon, respected judges and all the participants present over here. Wishing everyone a happy National Constitution Day. Today, I, Preksha Patle, a student of third semester BA LLB Honours, is pleased to share my views on the very crucial topic, media trial and Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. Media, as referred to by many as the eyes and ears of the general public. And a responsible media is expected to take into consideration the reliance entrusted on it by the general public and the confidence and faith entrusted on it by the whereby common man and public blindly accepts the truth of the news published by media. The Indian Constitution, under its Article 19(1)(a), grants freedom of speech and expression to its citizens. The freedom of press is a necessary element of the freedom of expression that involves a right to receive and impart information, without which democracy becomes an empty slogan. But this right is not absolute and is subjected to reasonable restrictions as mentioned in Clause 2 of Article 19, which clearly states that this right can be restricted by law only in interest of sovereignty, integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relation with foreign states, defamation, public order, decency or morality, or contempt of court, or incitement to an offense. To an extent, it can be agreed that the media, by publicizing certain facts, as it was best seen in the Jessica Lal murder trial, acts as a catalyst which is conducive to the speedy progress of the trial, and media activism of this nature is acceptable. Determination of guilt or innocence of a person are, in our constitutional scheme, is the function of courts and not the media. Besides, irreparable harm can be caused to a person's reputation by prematurely judging him or her as guilty. In this context, a distinct observation was made by the Supreme Court in its judgment in the Jessica Lal murder case, whereby stating that presumption of innocence of an accused is a legal presumption and should not be destroyed at the very threshold through the process of media trial, and that too when the investigation is pending. In that event, it will be opposed to the very basic rule of law and would impinge upon the protection granted to the accused under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. In the very famous case of Arushi Talwar, justice for Arushi was beginning to mean punish the parents. A newspaper carried the sensational headline, "Only parents could have killed Arushi." Now, the concept of innocent until proven guilty has been replaced by guilty until proven innocent. Now that the Allahabad High Court has acquitted the Talwars of all the charges, will the perpetrators of media trial apologize? Will the reporters chasing sensational headlines rethink? What about the damages caused to the reputation of the family? The incentives of the news channels behind broadcasting outrageous contents is the corporate sponsors, the companies which give the media houses billions of rupees of advertising revenue, thereby enabling them to continue injecting their deadly poison into the fabric of our nation. Hatred and bigotry gets TRP, and in turn it receives advertising revenue, which keeps this vicious cycle going. Without this money, the cycle could not sustain itself. Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution of India guarantees freedom of speech and expression, and Article 19(2) guarantees reasonable restrictions to be imposed. However, Article 19(2) does not refer to administration of justice, but interference of administration of justice is clearly referred to in the definition of criminal contempt as given in Section 2 of the Contempt of Courts Act 1971. Therefore, publications, coverage which interfere or tend to interfere with the administration of justice falls under the reasonable restrictions as given under Clause 2 of Article 19. While acting as a responsible media, it should follow certain norms in reporting of a crime or news related to a crime. Accuracy of the case shall be maintained and verified before the same is published or reported and read of all. A. And B. Every caution shall be undertaken to provide any writing that is opinion based, either favoring or defaming any person or political party. C. Right to privacy shall not be interfered with at all. D. Appreciation of an act of violence shall be avoided always. D. Rectification shall be published without any delay in cases of error. In the conclusion, I would like to state that though media is the fourth pillar of democracy and under Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution, it has a fundamental right. But at the same time, it cannot be allowed to transgress its domain under the grab of freedom of speech and expression to the extent that it prejudices the trial itself. And the time has come to legislate to control the unfettered power of media. Therefore, media trials have only served to help the people in only very few cases. But that does not happen in all the cases, thus, it is necessary to have restrictions imposed on it. That's all from my side. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much, Preksha. Next up, we have Ms. Rishita Khare from the third semester.
Am I audible, ma'am? I'm visible?
Yes, Rishita, you're audible and visible. Please begin.
Thank you, ma'am. In our country, media is regarded as the fourth pillar of democracy and plays a pivotal role in shaping and molding the views of the society. It is also capable of changing the mass mentality of people with its viewpoint. Media trial, on the other hand, is the declaration of the accused without accused as a convict. Excuse me, ma'am. Am I visible, ma'am?
Yes, Rishita, you're visible.
Ma'am, can I please shift? The electricity is not here.
Pardon?
Ma'am, can I please change my place? Electricity has gone here.
But you are visible, Rishita.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Media trial, on the other hand, is the declaration of the accused as a convict even before the courts have made its judgment. It is the imposing of certain perception about them, regardless of the verdict given by the court of law. It is not. It is not the media exposing bad investigation of the police or the malpractices or the malperformance of the civil servants, but it is when the media ultra vires its legitimate jurisdiction and does what it must not do, be it highlighting a sub judice issue or affecting the right to live with dignity of the accused or the suspect, keeping at stake the sanctity of judicial proceedings. The media now is in no doubt enjoying an illegitimate freedom and is ensuring that their voice reaches in whatever ways it can. Speaking it of being freedom of press, it as the views observed by various judgments in the Supreme Court and the views received from various jurists, it is crystal clear that the freedom of press flows from the freedom of expression guaranteed in Article 19, 1A of the Indian Constitution. Therefore, press stands in no higher footing than any other person of this country and therefore cannot claim and privilege as distinct as any other citizen unless conferred specially by the law. Also, the media cannot be subjected to any special restraint as cannot be exposed on any other citizen of the country. Our right to fair trial is an absolute right to every individual living in the territory of India. Also, Article 14 of the Constitution equality before law and equal protection of law. Article 20, rights in case of conviction or trial. Article 21, right to life with dignity. and Article 22, rights in case of detention. Also, our right to fair trial is an absolute right from Article 21 and Article 40. It is also mentioned in our Constitution that the freedom of speech and expression can be restrained by Article 19, Section 2 of the Constitution. As said, it being the right of the people to express their opinion, or as it said, right of the people to express their opinion, or right of the people to receive the right news. The constitutionality of media trial depends on the constitutionality of media trial depends on the impact it lays on the society. Hence, media trial will now come under contempt of court Act 1971, which will deal for the punishment in both civil and criminal matters. So no publications calculated to poison the minds of the jurist, intimidate a witness or parties, or creating an atmosphere in which the administration of justice will be difficult or impossible, shall come in the ambit of contempt of court. Also, Section 4 of the Act gives protection to the person making the publication if it is fair and accurate. Also, the establishment of Press Council has been very significant. It has been established by the Press Council Act 1978 and has the major objective to ensure freedom of press in India, while also having the authority to sanction punishment for irresponsible journalism. It has been significant to prevent the publishing of prejudiced content and to control what goes to the public. At last, the most suitable method to regulate the media trials and the media would be to exercise the contempt jurisdiction by the court and to punish whoever violates this basic code of conduct. The use of contempt against news channels and newspapers has been approved by the Supreme Court in various judgments. Lastly, I would say that the freedom of press and the freedom of speech and expression are both mandatory. However, the media cannot be given the freedom of speech and expression to an extent as to prejudice the trial itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashida. The last finalist of the day is Mr. Rupesh Mishra from the third semester. Rupesh, please turn on your camera.
Am I? Am I visible? Am I audible?
You are audible and visible. You may begin, Rupesh.
न्यायाधीश महोदय एवं मेरा तृतीय सेमेस्टर का सभी के भारतीय संविधान अनुच्छेद और भारतीय को
रुपेश आपकी आवाज कट रही है और आपका कैमरा भी आप विजिबल नहीं है।
मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ आ रही है। आपका वीडियो बार बार जा रहा है आ रहा है। आप नेटवर्क में आ जाइए।
मैं नेटवर्क में हूँ एक्चुअली, नेट तो सही चल रहा है।
हाँ अब आप दिख रहे हैं, कंटिन्यू कर लीजिए।
अच्छा सभी के समक्ष संविधान का अनुच्छेद 19 और मीडिया परीक्षण के ऊपर अपने विचार व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं। हम भारतीयों को यह हमेशा सुनने को मिलता है, भारत का संविधान सबसे बड़ा और विस्तृत संविधान। उसी संविधान का अनुच्छेद 19 भारतीय नागरिकों को स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार सुनिश्चित करता है, जिसमें अभिव्यक्ति का अधिकार प्रमुख है। भारत एक लोकतांत्रिक राष्ट्र है और लोकतंत्र के प्रमुख स्तंभ विधान पालिका, कार्यपालिका और न्यायपालिका हैं। परंतु कुछ मनीषियों और बुद्धिजीवियों द्वारा मीडिया को चतुर्थ स्तंभ बताया जाता है, जो पूर्ण रूप से सत्य है। इसकी स्वतंत्रता भी अनुच्छेद 19(1) का में सुनिश्चित की होती है। विभिन्न सूचनाओं एवं जानकारियों को यह न केवल सामान्य जनमानस तक पहुंचाता है, बल्कि अपने आलोचना के माध्यम से सरकार पर भी अंकुश लगाता है। विभिन्न मुद्दों को सरकार तक पहुंचाने तथा सरकार के फैसले को विश्लेषित कर जनता तक पहुंचाने का कार्य मीडिया बखूबी करता आ रहा है। परंतु हालिया दिनों में मीडिया का कार्य लोकतंत्र एवं सूचना स्रोत से बढ़कर कहीं और केंद्रित हो चुका है। लोकप्रियता और धन कमाने के लालच में मीडिया अपने लक्ष्य से भटक चुका है। अधिकारों और संविधानों की आड़ में आज का भारतीय मीडिया बेलगाम घोड़ा दिखाई पड़ता है। आजकल तो मीडिया परीक्षण का चलन सा चलने लगा है और चिंताजनक बात यह है कि परीक्षण टीवी, समाचार पत्रों और सोशल मीडिया पर बेरोक टोक चलता जा रहा है। अगर सीधी भाषा में समझे तो किसी भी व्यक्ति की प्रतिष्ठा न्यायालय के फैसले के पहले अपराध या निर्दोषता की व्यापक धारणा बनाकर टीवी और समाचार पत्र का कवरेज करने को मीडिया परीक्षण की संज्ञा दी जाती है। भारत का संविधान सभी को समान अधिकार की बात करता है और यह एक भारतीय का कर्तव्य है कि किसी भी अधिकार का दुरुपयोग ना हो, चाहे वो मीडिया की स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार ही क्यों ना हो। मीडिया को अपने विचार रखने का अधिकार है, पर अगर हम अधिकार का प्रयोग किसी भी नागरिक की छवि धूमिल करने के लिए किया जाए तो वह सीधे तौर पर अधिकारों का दुरुपयोग होगा। अगर भारतीय मीडिया के संदर्भ में बात की जाए तो खबरें छोड़कर फैसले सुनने में लगा हुआ है। आज के समय में मीडिया खबरें छोड़कर हाई वोल्टेज केस पकड़ता है और अपने स्वघोषित नियम और कायदे से फैसला सुनाने में व्यस्त है। हाल ही में सुशांत सिंह राजपूत का केस हुआ और आप सभी जानते हैं कि बिना किसी न्यायिक प्रक्रिया के रिया चक्रवर्ती का चरित्र हनन हुआ। यदि ऐसा ही चलता रहा तो वह दिन दूर नहीं, यदि ऐसा ही दुरुपयोग होता रहा तो वह दिन दूर नहीं कि फैसले टीवी पर सुनाए जाएंगे। मीडिया का काम सत्य दिखाना है, लेकिन कई बार देखा गया है कि दबाव में मीडिया परीक्षण किया गया। किसी भी सत्ताधारी राजनीतिक दल के दुराग्रह को अधिक आंका जाता है और सत्य को, और बड़े शर्म की बात है कि यह कृत्य संविधान के और अधिकार की छत्रछाया में किया जाता है। यदि मीडिया का नाम परिवर्तित करके यह पक्षपात कर दिया जाए है, मीडिया ने इस पर कर उसका करे। अगर किसी निर्दोष का चरित्र हानि संभव होती है तो वह पूर्ण रूप से गलत है, वो पूर्ण रूप से दुरुपयोग। किस तरह वो न्यायालय के क्षेत्राधिकार में आता है, ना कि मीडिया के क्षेत्राधिकार में। बात बिल्कुल साफ है कि एक तरफ यदि संविधान में मीडिया को अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार है, तो दूसरी ओर लोगों को उनकी गोपनीयता का है, उनकी सुने जाने का अधिकार है। अगर मीडिया द्वारा किसी भी व्यक्ति को आरोपी दोषी ठहरा दिया जाए तो यह मीडिया की भूमिका से बिल्कुल परे है। हम सभी जानते हैं कि मीडिया का बहुत बड़ा कार्य लोकतंत्र को बनाए रखने में है, पर अगर देश में मीडिया इसी तरह गैर जिम्मेदार होकर कानून की धज्जियां उड़ाए पर उतारू हो जाए तो यह फिर मान ले चाहिए कि लोकतंत्र का चतुर्थ स्तंभ ढह चुका है। आजकल जिस प्रकार का आरोप प्रत्यारोप मीडिया में चल रहा है वह बहुत ही अशोभनीय है और बहुत ही निंदनीय है। कानून यह कहता है कि जब तक किसी भी गुनहगार का गुनाह साबित नहीं हो जाता है तब तक वह गुनहगार नहीं होता है। अगर यही बात में बोली जाए, मीडिया का यह मानना है कि जब तक कोई भी आरोपी बेगुनाह साबित नहीं हो जाता तब तक वह गुनहगार है। मीडिया की इस शर्मनाक हरकतों का मुजाहरा बंद होना चाहिए, अधिकारों का दुरुपयोग खत्म होना चाहिए तथा भारत की प्रेस परिषद को अपनी भूमिका सिद्ध करनी चाहिए। अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी और सभी अधिकारों के परस्पर संतुलन होना चाहिए। आजकल की चल रही मनमानी को रोका जाना चाहिए और ऐसे मानक होने चाहिए जिसको मीडिया स्वयं लागू करे और जो मीडिया की मनमानी पर लगाम लगाए। और अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी को भी बरकरार रखे। यही कहकर मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
Thank you so much, Rupesh. So here we end the speeches of all the 6 finalists of the final round. Allow me to read out the preamble of the Constitution of India to honor the 71st Constitution Day. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. A very happy Constitution Day to the entire legal fraternity. Before we announce the results, I would like to call upon Mr. Shaurya Chopra from the 9th semester to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all. I, Shaurya Chopra of BLLB Honours 9th semester, extend my greetings of the 71st Constitutional Day. I take privilege to propose the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Mamta Rao Ma'am, Dean and Head of Law Department RDVV, for her enormous cooperation and support in making the interdepartmental virtual elocution competition successful. I would also extend my heartfelt gratitude to our respected judges who spared their valuable times for marking our participants in the final round. I am immensely thankful to all our respected teachers of the law department for their untiring efforts. Also, my sincere gratitude goes to all the participants who made this event successful and also gave their insightful speeches on the topics of both preliminary and final round. Lastly, before concluding, I would like to remind all of you that all the 6 participants have to be there in the law department at 10:30 a.m. sharp for felicitation of awards by the Honorable Vice Chancellor. Last but not the least, a very happy Constitutional Day to all of you. Jai Hind.
Okay, before announcing the results of the intra-departmental virtual elocution competition, a special mention to Mr. Rupesh Mishra of the 3rd semester. The judges really liked your speech and you did really well. Okay, so the much awaited result of the intra-departmental elocution competition is here with me. The first runner-up is Miss Ishita Prasad from the 1st semester. Congratulations, Ishita. And the winner of the intra-departmental virtual elocution competition is Mr. Piyush Dev from the 5th semester. Congratulations, Piyush, and congratulations to all the finalists. You all did really well. Thank you so much. We shall meet tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. in the department. Thank you. Happy Constitution Day. Jai Hind.